Thank you.
Thank you.
Normally I end the introduction with a round of applause, but we start with one now.
Yes.
We do it a little bit different today. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Balie and welcome to Plein Publiek. And a warm welcome to everyone listening at home as well. Plein Publiek is our weekly series at the Balie where the program editors of the Balie sit down with inspiring creators. My name is Dirk Struik and the man who just played for you is Andrija Pavlović, perhaps better known as Andy Pavlov. Andrija is a pianist, as you heard, a composer, a producer and a professor, and he holds a PhD for his pioneering quantum music project. We'll talk about that later. He was born in Belgrade in Serbia and now lives here in the Netherlands. And with his piano duo called LP Duo, he has played in the biggest venues all over the world. But he also has a rich body of work on his own. And tonight we're going to talk about his life and his music. And just as important, we're going to let the music speak for itself, as we just did. In between the questions, Andrija will play some songs from his latest solo album, Children. And Children contains 24 pieces, each one written in a different key. And every one of them is a portrait of a person, and hence every song title is a name.
Yes.
And he opened just now with a piece called Franz Philipp Emanuel. And we will listen to 3 other pieces during this session. But first, let's give another warm round of applause for Andy Pavlov.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Andrija, you just opened by playing one of the songs from Children. Let's start there. Can you tell us about Children? Why did you want to compose an album full of portraits?
You ask me a bit, where is the concept behind? Does the concept come first, or?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think like that. I just, you never know where and when the music will come. What I know is that I was at the house of Simeon and Holt,
I read
famous
that.
Dutch composer. I was living there for a month, and then I started to dream. First, I wanted to make kind of etudes for some exercises for piano, just that I could practice a bit. But then I started to dream about children, and then some characters were coming, and then I just started to play because I like music to just go, to come. I don't want to put the concept while the music is being born. And later on, I discovered, okay, but these are portraits, these are characters of a different persons. So I don't know who found whom, characters or characters music, but it's mutual, I think.
So you never start by creating a concept in your head?
Not never, but usually when I compose my own music, and that's not the case when I compose for movie or for theater, of course, then I have a text or I have a conversation with the director or whatever. But what I want to do when I just work for the piano music that I compose or with my duo, LP duo, just to see what my unconsciousness will tell me in a certain moment. And it's always, without a mistake.
Is your unconsciousness and your dreams, is that a lot of times the inspiration for your music as well?
Most of the time. Most of the time, yeah.
Because you say that these characters came up.
Yes.
But was there also already a sound associated with them at that point?
No, I think it was a parallel story. So in a way, what I like afterwards, I like to have stories about the music. I need a story behind for myself. And of course, we all listen differently, and that's the freedom of music. But then I like this, like, okay, something is happening, these characters are there, and in the history of music, of course, this is 24 pieces, like Bach was doing 24 pieces from all the keys. But these are all 24, persons, like by name, each person, each name, each character. That's something that I think we all go through our lives with this kind of a character that we that we are meeting during our life, you know, and going together with it, you know.
But are all the characters fictional because from dreams, or also real characters?
No, there are some real characters. There are some composers that are, you know, some musicians that I feel close to them, as like Simeon, then Holt, and
And I immediately, when I read about the album and when I listened to it, it are 24 pieces. And
yes.
you just told you like the stories of the characters as well, but is there a specific story behind every one of these single portraits?
Yes, there is. I also wrote these stories, but then I figure out that I don't want to share these stories.
It's for yourself.
Because then as I said, I'm stealing from the listeners their stories.
Yeah.
I want listeners to have their stories without my stories interfering, you know. But maybe my stories could be for later, for some book or something. But that's another question.
You just played the portrait of Franz Philipp Emanuel.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that story?
Well, that's one of my favorite portraits, because actually these are three characters in one composition.
Yeah.
Three famous composers like Franz Schubert, Philip Glass, and Emanuel Bach. So, you know, this is how it can. This is the only one that has three characters in one. Yeah.
But it sounds like one name.
One name, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And can you hear that influence in the song? Do you think?
I don't know. That's a question for the audience. Maybe, probably, but it's not about that. I respect really much the music and the composers there that were so much important for me. But mine path is different. I need to create something that is my own.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to the very beginning. You were born in Belgrade, and then Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia, yeah.
Country that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
How was it to grow up as an artist there I think in the 90s?
Very exciting. Very exciting. I need to explain this because I really feel like I was born in a country that doesn't exist. Because I was born in some different context completely. And then later on I couldn't really adopt to new political situations. And of course, Belgrade was always my town. Yeah. But in Yugoslavia, I had the relatives all around, in Croatia and Bosnia, and that was really beautiful. Considering the scene and being artist in the end of 90s, but I remember also the beginning of 90s. I was a kid, and the beginning of 2000s, it was amazing. It was really hard political situations, but really strong independent scene. Great musicians also coming from the 80s, because in the 80s we had a really great new wave.
And there was also a response to that political turbulent time.
The whole artistic scene was like helping people to resist the government and the former president of that time, and we did it at the end in 2000. The regime collapsed. Yeah. So it was a victory after 10, 11 years, maybe even more.
And a lot of your formative years happened around the Student Cultural Center.
Yes.
That's the same place where Marina Abramovic got her start of her career, I think. What kind of place was that? Was it also a place where those counter movements took place?
Yes. Well, I always, when I think about Student Cultural Center, I think about one work by one Yugoslavian artist, Braca Dimitrijević, who put the table on the Student Cultural Center, and it was written like, this could be the place of the. This could be the significant place in the history, Yeah. That was kind of a conceptual work, and it is. Student Cultural Center in Belgrade was established in 1968, so after the student revolutions that took place around the world. So it was really opened, And we could, we had, of course, Marina started in the 70s. She was later on here in Amsterdam and then in the States.
Yeah.
But, this influence was so present.
And did you feel that you were at a significant place at that point?
I felt that because...
How could you feel that?
Because every day you were surrounded by the art that was done in 70s and 80s, by the tradition of contemporary art, but also by artists that were living there, living artists. So you are coming as a young artist, and they were just talking with you, getting you into the projects. So it was kind of a melting pot of the Belgrade, where you can work in theater, work in visual arts, work in music, work in experimental classical music, all in the same place. You just change the floor.
Yeah. It's a community.
It's a community. No mobile phones, no internet. You just need to be present. You just need to come there.
Yeah,
that was strong.
I can't imagine now.
That was really strong.
Let's hear the next one. Yes. The next portrait is called Colette. Before you play, can you tell us shortly a little bit about her?
Yes, I can. Actually, that's a really good friend. And she's a wife of Simeon and Holt.
Okay.
And it has this composition has French taste a bit.
Okay.
And kind of elegance.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, let's hear.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Thank you. Beautiful. I wanted to ask you about LP Duo.
Yes.
We just referred to it. Because not longer after those early years in Belgrade, in 2004, you and the pianist, I'm very sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly, Sonja Lonkar,
Yes, Sonja Lončar.
Lončar
Yes.
started LP Duo, and you were later named one of the 8 best piano duos in the world at the Miami Dranov competition. You played 20 years together at 2 pianos together. What is it about this duo that makes it work for such a long time? What did you find in each other?
That was interesting because we started really early. We already had the careers in our 20s, you know. So she was playing a lot of. She also finished the piano. She also finished a music academy. But she was already playing a lot of different rock and roll bands, and me too. But I was also doing more conceptual things. You know, I started in a visual program actually, and then somehow there was a radio. Students Cultural Center radio where we met.
Because she's also from the cultural.
Yeah, she was coming also there, you know, and we had she has her own program on the radio, and I had my own program, and I also had my synthesizer, and she has her synthesizer. So she was like, okay, who is this guy? You know, he's doing the same things. So somehow we recognized each other, and we were like, okay, that's it. I was always looking for someone who would musically understand me, good in a good way.
But you developed a sort of similar style. Can I say it like that?
Yes.
Independent of each other.
Yes.
And then you found each other in that.
That's right. In a way.
Did it also immediately click between the two of you?
Immediately.
At the personal level.
Immediately. That was amazing. But first we were like, okay. I was asking her maybe we should go and study together, and we went to Germany and we studied 4 or 5 years. Really like hardcore. We practiced for 10 hours each day. So we wanted to develop our skill, you know. And then we started to go on the competitions, and that was one of the biggest competitions in the world, was Miami Dranov competition. Now I'm speaking about this role of being performer, because we have different roles. Being composer is something different. But we played all, from the classical music to the contemporary masterpiece of the 20th century. And then a lot of composers started to compose for us also. That's also how we got the scores of the Canto Ostinato.
Yeah.
20 years ago, maybe more.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, we got scores from Sonja's sister. Sonja's sister lived in Amsterdam. She was playing organ. She still does. And she sent like the scores, like, this is some piece, maybe you can try. And this was like, wow, this is such a great music. And we started to play canto when we were 20 something, you know. And then later on, this opened the Netherlands for us, and we started to play a lot here.
Yeah, because I wanted to talk about that. The piece that really brought you here to the Netherlands, that's Canto Ostinato.
Yeah.
And it's a piece by Simeon ten Holt.
Yes.
How did that piece find you?
That's a mystery, you know, because, you know, when you are young, you're just searching for a new music. You're just searching, you're thinking, okay, you go to study music, but then, okay, I was always thinking there must be some new music somewhere that somewhere around the corner. And then this piece came to me, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. And did you click to it immediately?
I clicked, we clicked to it immediately. And I don't know how many times we played this piece. And in the meantime, what is wonderful, this piece became a cult, kind of a cult. So we play with a colleague here, Van Veen, famous Dutch pianist. We played it almost every January in Concertgebouw, and that's a really special and meditative experience.
Yeah, because there's one thing I wanted to ask, of course, because you wrote this album, you already told us, in the residence of Simeon ten Holt's house in Bergen.
Yeah.
On his own piano.
On his own piano.
On his own piano.
Yeah.
What is it like to write in the home of a man whose music brought you here?
Well, you know, when I entered this little house, it's a beautiful little house. That was his, you know, he lived there for years. Only bed, only piano, little kitchen.
Very efficient, just for music.
Exactly. But when I came there, I felt as I came home.
Yeah.
I felt, you know, I looked for the books he was reading and everything, and that are the things that I also, you know, are interested to me.
That's interesting because it seems like the musical connection also with your partner at LP Deal and here is the starting point of like do you think when you connect on music, it's more probable that you become friends too? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it is. And you know, when we were in a high school, always the first question was, "What music do you listen?"
Yeah.
And then that could tell you a lot about the person.
Yeah.
But
sure.
I must just add, not only Simeon and Holt, but I also met composers, Amsterdam composers, Hill Mering, Huba de Graaf, and we worked a lot. And we recorded a lot of their music too, you know, and published for Donemus. But we were also publishing for Universal Music later on, and this album, Children, is published for Brilliant Classics, Netherlands. So yeah.
Okay, and very fittingly, the next piece is a portrait called Simeon.
Yes.
Well, we know the story, I think, now.
Yeah. I am glad that when I asked, somehow before I recorded all the pieces, I played a bit to Colette. She lives there. And she was like, I feel it, you know. I feel that it's kind of a good match.
Well, we want to feel it too, I think.
Yeah.
Can you play some?
Let's do it, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it gets exciting. I wanted to ask you, you are trained as a classical pianist, but you never really stayed inside of that world, I think. And I want to talk about your quantum music project. A project that you did with LP Duo and with scientists, I think, from the Technical University in Delft, among others. And firstly, I wanted to ask, as a complete layman, what has quantum physics have to do with music?
Yeah, well, first of all, I feel that I'm always with my left leg in a classical music from when I was a boy for 5 years. So just to explain the position, I can play any classical piece in an LP Duo also in a very high level. And we like to play some classical music. But the thing was that when we played in a Carnegie Hall, that was 2014, it was kind of a dream. And after that, we need kind of...
It's the big hall in New York.
Yeah, in New York.
It's a large thing.
Yeah, it was a big thing, you know, and really after the Miami competition, and we had already one tour in the US, and then this was the second tour, and it was really, really amazing. But somehow, I think our story and my story is that, you know, we always want to research. We always want to go to the, you know, some territory, unknown territory. And in that moment, our good collaborator and friend Dragan Novković, who is a sound engineer, he met again after 30 years his schoolmate Vlatko Vedral, who is a famous quantum physicist from Oxford University. And to cut the story down, you know, so they were like hanging around talking about that, talking about over acoustics. So in a quantum world, in an experiment called Bose-Einstein experiment, when you cool down the atoms, because atoms are behaving really fast and quick, you know, and everything is here a vibration of atoms, you know. But when you cool it down to the most close to absolute zero, you know, the most coolest temperature that can exist, then they behave as one subject. And if you trigger them with the laser beams, there is a kind of mechanical waves. And mechanical wave, that's a base of the sound. So we started to experiment and we created the sound banks. And then we started to produce different instruments, also virtual instruments. But the main goal was to explain to the people through the music the phenomena of the quantum world. And we did that through the you know, multimedia concerts and our own compositions that we compose and travel around the world. So that was really exciting.
It's very cool, but very complex as well.
Very complex when I talk about that. But
you can show us something too.
Yes.
Because you brought with you your Duality portable hybrid piano instrument.
Yes.
And I think you're going to demonstrate. I'm going to. I can grab that mic.
All right. Yeah. Whatever we can do it. It can be.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Because the people here in the hall, they can't see it, but there's an instrument all across your piano.
Exactly.
And it's the instrument you built yourself with some scientists.
Yes. Well, you know, from the beginning when Sonia and I met, you know, and formed LP Duo, we were great fans of analog synthesizers also. So we were playing often pianos and synthesizers together, but we were not satisfied with the kind of sound in general and the touch and etc. But then for the quantum music project, we needed kind of a device that could connect both worlds, like acoustic pianos and a digital world. So we were working with the quantum physicists and with a group of engineers from American company H-Tech. And the result is the Duality, which is a kind of controller that you put below the keys. It has 88 sensors. Each sensor reads one key, the movement of the key, and then translate this movement into the sound. You connect the piano, you connect the device.
And you also have your laptop here. It's plugged in.
Exactly. And actually it works as a MIDI converter, you know, and it could control lights, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how we started not only to work with the quantum physicists, but to compose our own music. and it can sound like this. For example, I just...
Yeah, it's very cool. I wrote down the question, what does it let you do that an ordinary piano can't? But I think we got the answer to that. And it's very cool because I saw videos of you playing the piano, and then on top of that there was a keyboard and you were switching. But this device makes it possible to create such a sound, classical piano and electronical sounds.
That's right.
At one acoustic piano.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that was always a need to expand the sounds of the piano, not only going inside of the piano and playing on the strings, but to connect with the digital or analog sounds.
Yeah, it was born out of a necessity for you.
Exactly.
But it's really your device, right?
It's device of LP Duo. It is great for touring, for recording music, for writing scores, and it became more than our instrument. So it's patented. It has a patent. So it is open for use. Yeah,
it's very cool.
Yeah.
We're going to remove that one.
Yes, I will just ask you to put down the volume of the synthesizer, and then I will just remove it.
1 second. And I was asked not to do it before the camera, so I have to pay attention.
Yeah.
But I think you can stay there after the piano.
Then I just bring the duality with me. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Fine, but,
you can do that too.
Yeah, I will put it here, but later on I can.
Because we have another piece.
Okay, already. Yes.
Yeah.
The time is flying.
Yeah, time is flying because it's really fun. Yeah. Your last piece of the night is a portrait called Ennio. Ennio, right? Oh, maybe you can sit here for a moment because I want to hear about the story around Ennio. Can you tell us about that?
Well, probably you will hear. Maybe you will hear when I play, but it's dedicated to Ennio Morricone.
Okay.
A famous Italian composer whose music is really. I don't know, probably the most emotional, or one of the most emotional music that I ever heard. This kind of beautiful melodies and harmonies. I don't know, maybe Morricone, then Rachmaninoff, and then Tchaikovsky. Probably that's the kind of crew for me.
Yeah. And this piece is inspired by that, I think. But I just a question popped into my head because these are some real characters that inspired your the sound. But when you had the fictional characters, like the characters that came up in your dream, how did you came up with the sound in that scenario?
I don't know. It just came through then that's the different channel. That's just from dreams and from the music that I was playing after that in the morning, because I really have to be open all the time, as I said. You never know when it is going to happen.
You have to pay attention.
I have to pay attention, and also being open. It's great sometimes, but sometimes it's difficult. It's
distracting, maybe.
It's it is exhausting.
Yeah, because how many times a day do these ideas come up? Can you?
It depends. It doesn't. Sometimes it just go. It happens to me for one of the compositions that I went to a swimming pool. And then I was running back home as crazy, because I was afraid that I will not record it.
You didn't want
to
forget the idea.
Yeah. That's right.
So I think we're going to listen to your last piece of tonight, this portrait of Ennio.
Yes.
Let's hear it. Thank you. What is very nice is your music doesn't only live in concert halls, because you write for theater and television and film. You did the Cine concert here, Raskolnikov, in the Balie, which became a little bit of an urban myth here, because we had some technological problems and you improvised through that. It's a great story, and people talking about it a lot here. What pushed you towards writing for the screen?
That I felt this always very natural, somehow from the beginning of the career, alone and with LP2 also. So it goes well, and I think also my music is pretty cinematic. But Raskolnikov was a great project, really, and it was a challenge because I needed to write 2.5 hours, and I was afraid how the audience will react, because it's a silent movie from 1923 by Robert Wiene. Amazing movie with Stanislavski method actors from Moscow Theater, completely different times, 100 years ago. But then, to have music played for 2.5 hours, it's not easy. So I was struggling in the beginning, because after an hour I was feeling it doesn't work when I was composing. And then I started to play to my wife, and she was like, hey, you play too much. This, And then I figured out, okay, I need to find the right rhythm, and
also the rhythm towards the screen.
Yeah, so it was not a concert with the film. It was like a live score together with the movie. And the movie itself is amazing, about this man from Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. And it's really hard to understand him, because he's at one point really nice, great guy who is helping other people, but then from some crazy ideas he killed two ladies, and he could not live with that after that. So at the end he met Sonia, who was a character for and she, what happened, that she didn't, she was not judgmental to him immediately, but she felt how hard it is, how tough it is for him. And when he got this, he was like surrendered. He surrendered, and he was like, okay, now, so the love, this kind of a connection between people and love was, can cure.
I have one final question for you. You're a professor as well, and a teacher, and you work with a younger generation.
Yes.
And before this chat, we talked a little bit about how there's still, or maybe again, a political hectic situation going on in Serbia.
Yes.
Just like in your age.
Yes.
And maybe some counter movements in the art scene as well. What do you want to pass on to this new generation of artists?
Well, yes, it is amazing. We have now, I told you, like year and a half, there was a big tragedy in the north city in Novi Sad, in the northern part of the country, and the renovated train station collapsed and killed 16 people. And then that was a moment when people got crazy, and when students started the big protests against the authoritarian regime, I must say, and the big corruption. So the students that we know that somehow were really quiet, they exploded, and they taught us how they are serious, how they are well organized, how they have ethical principles, and I'm impressed. So to teach them, I think I should be a better person, artist, and of course I want to help them in any way, because this is a new generation. They're bringing the hope. And not only to the Balkans, but I feel that it's a new. They have their own revolution. It's a change of the generations, and it's beautiful to watch.
Thank you. Well, we're going to keep going for a little while here, but for everyone watching at home, I'll close off.
Yes.
Andrija,
We didn't mention that the children, which is nice because the students are also children and we are all the children.
Yeah.
It's without ages. There are people who are older, but they are also children. So it's also available on LP, double LP. So it's possible to listen like that too.
Yeah, and you should, as you heard today. Next week here at Plein Publiek, my colleague Sylvia Vechter will be in conversation with Maud Wiemeyer. Let's give a final warm round of applause for Andrija Pavlović. And with that, everyone at home, I wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.
All right.